Hello and welcome to another episode of Geek-Men and the Masters of the ThunderNerds. I'm Dustin.
I'm Zombie, and this is It's Frickin' Figures.
Indeed.
Welcome back to another exciting episode.
Bum.
Oh, man. It was a big
Well,
weekend.
it was. It really was. And it's too bad we weren't there for it in person, but I'm excited to talk about all the wonderful things that were revealed over the weekend.
Yep. And what we're talking about is Legion's Con.
Yeah.
Um, so, Legion's Con happened over the weekend, and a lot of stuff got revealed.
A lot.
um, but before we get into that, Dustin, do you have anything for what's in the box?
I didn't bother with what's in the box because I knew you were saying you had so much to cover, so I didn't bother with it.
Yeah, no, I didn't have any pickups either. I didn't get anything. Nothing was sent to me. So, all right, I guess without further ado, we'll just get right into it. And I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to start with the whole big reveal because that's what everybody's going to be focusing on before you know it. Um,
Yeah.
if you would, Dustin, pull that up for me.
Bum bum.
So, the big reveal over Legion's Con was this dragon. So for years, uh, the fandom of Mythic Legions have been begging, "Where's the dragon? Where's the dragon? Where's the dragon?" And that all stemmed from an interview that one of the horsemen that goes by Corn Boy did. Not with us, of course, but I can't remember who did that interview with him. Hey, pops, how you doing?
How's it
But
going?
he had mentioned that he wanted to do a 3 foot dragon. And after he said that, everybody they just latched onto it every year. Where's the dragon? Where's the dragon? Where's the dragon?
I think he
Um,
said 4-foot dragon.
no. It was three. It was 3 foot dragon. Um, because
I
that
don't
was
know.
always what they would go back to. They would, because when everybody would ask, where's the 3 foot dragon? They would go, Corn Boy just kind of said that. We never really said we were going to do a 3 foot dragon. We've got to figure out how to work that out or whatever. So they did it. They finally, Eric sat down and sculpted this thing. Eric Treadaway, and he said it took him months to sculpt this thing. And hey, Charles, how you
How's it
doing?
going?
So
I gotta
not,
say, the detail on this looks insane. Just
yeah, it's a big dragon, and
it,
we'll
it
get into the size here in just a minute. So I want to point out this is not a 3 foot dragon, because they I went through the live, because they did like a 4.5 hour live reveal
mm-hmm.
for G-Con before Legion's Con, which is always an online thing that they do. And they were asking, they said they were asking themselves, what does it mean, a 3 foot dragon? Obviously, we can't do a 3 foot tall dragon. That would just be insane. So this thing is actually not 3 feet at all. It's going to be closer to 4 feet long. So they definitely went above and beyond here on
Yeah.
the sculpt. It's from tip of the nose to the tip of the tail spike. They said extended. It's over 4 feet, and these are just rough estimates here that you see on screen. The measurements, the 31 inches, and then the 22 inches tall. Now, they said not only did they sculpt this thing, and it's massive, it's huge. They showed it off. It was at the show.
Yeah.
Uh, they're making an add-on kit for this thing. So you get wings that are splayed out a little bit more. They're not as folded. It comes with a new head, a different head with a different facial expression to kind of better accentuate the flame effect. And the flame effect that you see here is in two pieces. There's one where the fires coming out of the mouth there, and then that sort of pool of fire is a separate piece,
Oh, okay.
kind of a base that it's going to rest upon. And I do have some information here about its release, because they always do a wave of figures that they reveal at G-Con. And they always, again, G-Con is right before Legion's Con. Um, that wave of figures, which we'll get into here in a little bit after the dragon, uh, those figures are going to be up for pre-order for a little bit of an extended time, more so because of the holiday season. Typically, it's just a month-long pre-order window to order directly from the Horsemen. But for the wave that they announced is going to be until almost the end of December. Um, then we're going to get into the new year 2025, and at some point in January they're going to start a crowdfunding campaign themselves for this dragon here. So
Okay.
they've kind of said, we're still trying to figure out the logistics of it. I'm pretty sure the main body of this thing is going to be rotocast. So if you're familiar with their trolls that they have, which you can kind of sort of see like right above me on my top shelf, they're still in the box. The main bodies on those are rotocast. The arms are rotocast. The legs are rotocast, and they have a little bit of rudimentary um, articulation in the lower half of the troll figures, just for stability reasons. There's no knee articulation on those, but this dragon here it has the most articulation that they've ever put in any figure released
Right.
far, even down to the tail. The tail is in segments.
Right. I was noticing that.
Yeah, so it's really going to be are unbelievably articulated for its size. So the main body, if I'm going out on a limb here, the main body itself will probably be rotocast. I did see a video where they had a prototype on show on the floor at Legion's Con, and you could hear the ratchet joints and everything. So they're already working ahead of time on the molding, getting the molds done, because it wasn't just a prototype. It was kind of a factory sample, like a first factory sample, to try and work out the kinks with the body, kind of make revisions where they need to. But let me show you here, because I have also a size comparison of this dragon with some of these figures here. And in the middle of the picture there, you can see one of those trolls.
It's
So,
absurd.
yeah, if you go down the line, of course, you got the horse, you've got Zende there down by the rear legs, and then you've got a goblin. So the Zende figure is one of their like basic sized figures. So you can get kind of if you've got one of those figures, you get kind of a size comparison here, maybe that you can relate to. This thing is going to be massive. We're talking like, Eric Treadaway during the show, he compared this lengthwise to the USS Flag from the classic GI Joe line. He
Jeez
said this
whiz.
thing is just it's unfathomably huge, and it's an articulated figure. It's unlike anything that's out there on the market right now. Um, he kept saying this all put together because you got to understand, when they're sculpting these types of things, they're seeing them in parts. So even though they're the ones that are making these figures, they don't really get to see them all put together until right before they have to send off the paint masters and everything to the factories.
Right.
During before the initial production and all that kind of stuff. So he said seeing that original painted print, because this, let me go back to it real quick. Our first opening picture here. This is not the actual
You
figure.
didn't go
This
back to the
is
picture. There you go.
this. Did it not go? There we
Yeah,
go.
now
Okay.
now it went.
Sorry, a little bit delayed, I guess. So
Yeah.
this is printed 3D printed parts, like a paint master would be, where they dial in the colors and everything. So they had this one on display, and then they had a second one uh, that they had on display at the show with the fire breath and the new head sculpt and the tail extended out. Uh, it was just it's an insane figure, and I've got some close up shots here from the show floor. Let me pop over, make sure I'm sharing right. Yeah, there we go. So here's kind of a close up of that head there. Um, really see some of the detail just in the sculpt and everything. Now I've got an even closer shot. Let me pull that up real quick.
Jeez.
So you can really see all those skulls, all the scales sculpted in there.
Yeah.
And the eyes almost look like they're glowing. Now they're not lit up. It's just
Right.
that's how good the paint work is on those things.
That's amazing.
So again, this is going to be supposedly going up for not necessarily pre-order, but it's going to be like a pledge type of system. And they did say they're not really going to make a whole lot of these, only really what people order. So if you're going to try and play the weight game, that's not a safe thing to do if this is something that you're interested in. This doesn't have to go just with Mythic Legions. It could be the centerpiece for any collection, for anybody that collects anything, toys or statue wise, dragons, anything like that. This is something that it's not just Mythic Legions. Yeah, this is a huge dragon that anybody would love to have.
Yeah.
Here's another.
Breaks my heart.
Another shot of the. Oh yeah, no, they haven't. They have not announced a price point yet. They're still trying to figure that part out.
Right.
So, so the campaign will be sometime in January, which I'll be all over. So if you don't follow the Horsemen on any of the social medias or anything like that, but you come and watch us, trust me,
we'll be talking about this.
Happens. Since it's going to be kind of a campaign, and they're going to be kind of doing it like a HasLab type of thing. Okay, they're not going through Kickstarter. They said they weren't, but we're still a couple of months away. Who knows? But it is going to be a campaign style. There will be stretch goals. The first kit being the new head that you see here, which unless you see them side by side, you can't really see the difference. This one has a little bit more of an angrier expression.
Yeah.
The jaw is articulated on both. So yeah, it's not just a static head where it's either open or just closed. It's articulated. And then of course the fire effects and the new more splayed out wings.
Yeah.
Here is a picture of that. Share instead.
Whoa.
So here's a picture of that kind of that. I don't want to say test shot, but for all intents and purposes, that's really what this is. It's a test shot. It's a factory sample.
Yeah.
They said they just got this in like a day or so before, the show or whatever. So to have something like this
That's
on
incredible.
The floor that you could see is amazing, especially right after the reveal. And this thing had working joints. The video that I saw, they were moving the wings and you could hear the ratchet joints in them. I mean, it was click, click, click. They were loud.
Yeah.
So, we're talking, there's articulation at shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist here. But there was also some shots. There's going to be a couple of extra hands for the front where they're kind of gripping.
Yeah.
And the fella in the back here that you see, that's Eric Treadway. He's the main sculptor for all of their Legions lines and stuff. And you can just look at him. He's smiling in the background like a proud papa there.
Yeah, he is.
He had said those hands are large enough to where it'll grip a standard size Mythic Legions figure. So, you think about that, okay? That's almost the size of my hand here. It's a little smaller, But, yeah, So there's that, and then no, this next picture here. Let me show you this. You see somebody, they're holding the head of that dragon in the palm of their hand, and it's as big as their hand.
Jeez,
You hold your hand out and look at your hand. That's everybody's different size or whatever. So rough about size. That's about the size of this thing's head. Okay, just the head.
Yeah, I mean, it still is weird because like my daughter held up the troll that was in the picture earlier, held up the troll, and it was like held it next to her face, and I took a picture of it, and it was literally as big as her head, bigger than her head, and then this is even bigger than that. So
no,
it's outrageous.
You look at, let me pull that picture back up here, the size comparison. Yeah, I mean, so the big guy in the middle, the gray and pinkish guy, that's that troll that he's talking about, folks.
Yep,
this
that is
thing
the exact one.
This is such a massive figure.
And just the fact, like, okay, so this gives me goosebumps. So I'm immediately wanting to take the dragon and have it pick up a horse and like just try to fly off like in mid-flight. Like, oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, with the two gripping hands, it could totally do it because you see the horse right there.
Right. and of course, I just recently watched an episode of Vox Machina. So this whole season has been about dragons and the conclave. So this figure is just mind-blowing. It's just outrageous. But
so not man, I don't even know how. I'm just gonna come out and say it. So this is the first dragon. Okay, there's potentially 4 more in the future if this figure does well. Which, I mean, the Legion's community alone will probably fund this thing to where they reach their minimum production order numbers.
Right.
If it's marketed to the rest of the world, even outside of Mythic Legions, like, hey, you want a museum quality giant dragon figure? Here you go, folks.
Right.
I mean, the horses themselves, anybody that, collects equestrian type of things, they love those horses. They don't. Yeah, and that was the first one that they made. That brown horse, that was the first one. That one sold out everywhere. Like, you can't even get that one anymore unless you go to the secondary market, which is an outrageous thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, they're re-releasing that. He's going to come with more armor and stuff like that. But that's another line.
That's another podcast for another day.
Yeah. So let's see, where did I leave off of my images? Yep, right there. Okay, so where are we at it? We're 9:50 right now here where I'm at. So we're about 20 minutes in already, I think.
Yeah.
So the wave that they
hang on, but first, do you still want the size comparison up there?
Yeah, no, leave it because I'm gonna hop over unless you've got something you want to add.
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't talking about something that isn't on the screen yet.
No, I was about to hit the tab.
Okay.
So this is one of the figures from the wave of figures that they announced.
Right.
This is Basilia. People have been asking for her for a long time. And I'm showing this picture instead of going to their website because really this picture shows you something that the website doesn't really capture all that well. If you go to sourcehorseman.com and look up these figures, and I'm talking about the paint job here, there is like a bit of luster. And I'm going to try to zoom it in here even more. So you can kind of see there's like a metallic sheen thing kind of going on with
Yeah.
her scales. And I think the pictures on the official site don't really capture it as well as this picture does right here. This is straight from the showroom floor.
Right.
You can get my zoom to work right here. Let me get her back on. So it's got a very Mesoamerican type of thing going on, and I love it. It's one of she is one of the four mythical beasts. So you've got Basilia, you've got Xylona, that was a deer. You've got Eartheron, that was a golden hawk, a golden eagle type of character, and then you've got Leodicius, that is a big fucking lion. uh, when they revealed that one and his size, I couldn't believe it. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, they went big with that
Yeah,
one.
they did.
So these are like deity type of characters. So she is, a member of the four mythical beasts that uh, do direct battle with their equivalent of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which they're called the Dark Four in Mythic Legions, and we got those. They made those. Necronominus is on his way.
Yep.
Sometime early next year, I'm told.
Yep.
So this is kind of the good side to the bad side that they've already released, and for each for each representation of the good and bad, they kind of have one that they are directly kind of against, like their factions are like it's a versus type of thing, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. So for Basilia, it is the Poxus. So that's her like direct foe. Um,
Okay.
and those both of those factions are like heavy magic users. So I mean, it kind of makes sense, for for Eartheron, the bird. And I'm sorry, I don't have a picture pulled up of that one. That one is direct conflict of interest of Necronominus, which is why some of those figures are kind of being released in the same wave when that one comes out.
Okay.
But she isn't the only snake character in town here, and you'll notice she does have a very snake-like body, and that is also done in segments, kind of like the dragon's tail was.
Yeah.
And that'll go down to where it has a bend at the base that's a solid piece, and that runs down to it's going to end up being like a wired bendy tail. So very interesting,
Hmm.
you know, choices of articulation to achieve that. But then here is one of her like a guard type of character. So it's another snake, and it's got kind of that same lower body. And I'm choosing this picture again because you're getting a little bit of close up of some of that armor and the details in it that they're using there. He's very much got the same type of lower body as Basilia did, that kind of snake lower half body.
Yeah.
And they have, they explain, why they have that instead of legs and all that. I mean, these are supposed to be snakes. The snakes don't really have arms, but it's fantasy. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Here is another.
The last one
Yeah.
didn't pop up yet.
Oh shit! You got to catch me when I do that, man. Where did I leave off? Okay, let me go back to Basilia. Here is that picture I was
Okay.
going on about. So you got him, and
Yes.
he's got that same type of Mesoamerican type of armor. If you look at the headgear around his head, it's like a bird. There's like a beak kind of shape thing going on there,
Yeah.
which I think that's great. I love that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get these in hand. Here's another shot of kind of a side view. You can see that head a little bit better on him.
Yeah.
But again, this is part of like a whole wave of figures.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dustin. Do you want to hop over? Because I've got like so many other tabs open here. I don't know if you want to hop over to Source Horseman and go through
yeah.
the wave or whatever. Or I mean, I can do that. Let me pull it up real quick.
You can leave the presentation. Do you have more slides?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, then I'll pull up the next thing. Share screen. Share screen. You just tell me where you want me to go, and I will do this. The stage.
Well, I
And
mean,
what's
yeah.
up?
Hey, Figure Fight Club. I'm totally jealous you got to go. We're just kind of running through some of the figures. Here you can really see the whole lineup of that wave, and the big one there in the middle, that's the Leodicius figure. That's
Yeah.
the fourth of the deities that they did. Um, you can see the two on the left hand side. Those are the two that I just showed off. And then you've got kind
Right.
of like this Roman centurion kind of character next to Leodicius. That kind of falls under his faction. Uh, to the right, past Leodicius, is a kind of a mysterious character from a new faction that we'd only really gotten one figure from before, and that was the Rhaegor figure. So she's the second figure from the faction that was kind of released in honor of a Mythic Legions fan that had passed away. The Rhaegor figure there, but this one is if you look kind of behind her, you'll see like there's another dragon there. That one's
Right.
going to be like a little bendy body type of Asian dragon.
Huh.
The one next to her is a hyena, so you get kind of this anthropomorphic hyena figure, and then the last one there is an Ifrit character. Is think kind of like fire genie.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to see any of those in detail, you go to sourcehorseman.com. And then that first option there for Mythic Legions, it pulls a drop down menu, and you can look them up by waves released. It's like the fourth one down. Yeah, waves released, and scroll all the way to the bottom, and it'll give you the name of the wave that those go to. Reign of the Beasts. So when you click on that, it'll pull up the menu with each of those in there, and wonderful shots. They give turnarounds, and they'll give you the pictures there with what they're going to include with accessories. Some of them come with multiple heads. A
Yeah.
bunch of them come with a lot of different hands. But the Leodicius figure up there, he's probably, so they label him as ogre scale, but he's actually probably going to be closer to the size of these guys. And we're talking like 10-inch range here.
Yeah.
That's how big that son is going to be.
uh
But yeah,
insanely.
you can. I'm not going to go through each and every one of them. That's how you could get to them. If you're interested, and they give the bio and all kinds of stuff, and that's for all of the waves. You can go there and check them out. But so I'm gonna flip back to me.
All right. All right.
There was another little surprise drop that they did, much like last year with the Valiant Knights. They had a figure ready to go. Just they put it on the table and let people find it. So this one, and Dustin, you had looked up the name of this. How do you say the name to this character?
Ninen, Ninen, Ninen,
Ninian
uh,
Guard,
Ninian
Ninian
Guard.
Guard.
Yeah.
However you want to say it, that's up to you. So,
Right. I
um,
mean, there's also the Travis Bowles way, which is probably like 999. I'm
yeah,
guessing.
the no
He's a
wizard.
crazy kook.
No, but this one, so very similar to the other one that we showed off.
Yeah.
Might have a few shared parts between them or whatever, but I don't know. This one looks like a completely different open-mouthed head to me because this one has much smaller fangs. But this one was a production piece. They had it on the table. You could buy it, just like the Valiant Knight last year. So I was told there were one per person. And later on, they may have lifted those restrictions maybe by the second day if they still had some left over or whatever. Yep, there's that Valiant Knight. I love that they're doing this now. They're having a not just, you know, 2 packs that they announce ahead of time, but a surprise figure from something that's kind of in production, just to kind of give you a taste of like, yeah, here's what's coming. Okay.
Yeah. Here's
But
a
this
taste of the goods.
yeah, this very much has a lot of shared parts from things that are already out with a few new pieces sprinkled in. Like, of course, the tail. You see the tail there, the bendy tail. That's new. Of course, the heads are new. They just announced those heads, so that's amazing that they were able to get those produced for this thing. The hands, thighs, and feet all come from, I believe, a Thraxian figure that is not out yet from Cosmic Legions, and then the torso is from the blue guy from Cosmic.
Yeah.
Thygar, something
Yeah.
Thygar. I can't remember his whole name. So it's got very smart parts reuse. But yeah, it's just an amazing looking figure, and I've got some turnarounds for him because for some reason it's not on the Horseman's website yet.
Yeah. I
But
guess,
here he is,
they're
just kind of
busy
decked out.
slacking off. It's not like they have anything better to do or
Right. I mean, hey, I never stop working, but I don't work for the Horseman.
Right. Yeah. Me either. I don't
Yeah,
have a life, but so I could work for you, Horseman, but Corn Boy hasn't called me up yet. So, and not to mention I'm no good at pretty much anything, so I like
nah.
that tail though.
Yeah, so here's a back shot.
That's what she said.
Or he said.
Yeah.
Just saying. We're not that kind of show.
Figure
All right.
Fight Club
No,
says it
I
was a fun
love.
show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looked like it was. It looked like it was a blast. I'm very jealous that you were able to go, Abby.
One of these days
No,
we'll
I
get to go.
remember. I mean, hey, there's always 2025. We're coming into a new year. A lot of new is going to be happening. So who knows? We'll see. But
Yeah.
I want to point out here, Dustin, you and I had a conversation before. Really, this figure was in anyone's hands. I had found an image that was kind of, somebody, and I'm not going to say who, somebody posted and said, I wonder what this is. They didn't show this in the reveal. I immediately saved that image and sent it to you, Dustin, and said, check out the paint scheme on this thing. I see, red and black stripes on the arms and stuff. And
Yeah.
so here you really get a good look at that paint scheme. I think personally, it's very much. It looks like a coral snake or a king snake.
Yeah.
But I love the paint job on this thing. Just looks so cool. And then I am going to credit. I believe this one came from D Amazing. This shot here from his review. So I did
okay.
snag that. So if you don't know D Amazing, look him up on YouTube. He's got a full-blown review of this thing. He puts the figure through his paces.
Yeah.
Let me share that. Here it is.
And yeah, there's a tail in action. Good grief,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And I'm just going to kind of cycle through
That
some of his shots here.
hot.
Yeah. So he does say he prefers that open mouth over the closed. I like them both. I think they both look great, just from the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's true, but I don't know. There's something about the snarling, hissing mouth, rather.
Yeah,
Snarling mouths for cats and all that stuff. I just find those to be so much more
you can
emotive
see
and
here better
hot.
view of the back of the figure there without the armor and adornments and stuff on him.
Yeah, that also doesn't have pauldrons or anything in,
Right, right.
so that's very cool. I dig it.
Here is better look at that shield. Again, it's got a little bit of that Mesoamerican type of influence there
Yeah.
in some of the colors of the armor and especially the design on that shield.
Yep.
So these were just some of the cool little things that the horseman revealed and had on hand, and you could see them in person, and some of the things you could go ahead and buy. And there was many other reveals that they had during their G-Con.
Hmm. We're
When the
talking everything from like role playing games to all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of things. They seem to be branching out into other things as well
oh
to
yeah,
get every last fan of any random genre.
I mean it's not bad for a property that doesn't have any type of entertainment connected to it.
Totally.
There's no TV show, there's no movie, there's a video game coming out eventually.
Yeah.
There's no cartoon, there's no comic book yet, which they said, that's a possibility. They are working on one for Cosmic, I believe. Um,
Yeah. Well, and
but
they
they're,
had the original one
yeah, but that was
that was very limited and
it's
not widely
it's
released.
it's not they don't consider it canon, so
Oh,
the
really?
events and things that happen in that first comic book, and you could get that through the Kickstarter, I believe. But
Yeah.
there's some digital scans of it. If you are a member of the Cabal, look in the archives of the Cabal, and the digital scans are there if you're interested in looking that up and reading it. And it's kind of a fun little story. It's done through the eyes of a bard, so it's kind of done in song and rhyme type of setup.
Yeah.
There's a fun little story that's within the pages of that. But they're bringing in members of the community to work on some of these things, like the comic book for Cosmic that they're working on. Um, so that's always a really cool thing when a company kind of acknowledges its fans and says, hey, we really like what you do. I mean, that's how Nate Barch got started with them for their artwork that's all over their products, all over their packaging and everything.
Yeah.
Any type of imagery that you see that's like art, like obviously painted or drawn or anything on the packages, that's Nate Barch, that's him. So he started out as a fan, and now he
Yep.
does work not just for the Horseman, but he does stuff with Mattel and a few other companies. So he's
Yep.
branched out. Then you got Trevor
Absolutely.
Williams, who is their main photographer. So any of those pictures that you see for promotional images, not counting like the one that you see here on screen, that's also the amazing shot.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're starting to bring in other artists that do other types of artwork, and they're kind of branching out on that. But like you had said, they're starting to develop a tabletop game. If you're into the tabletop minis and stuff,
Yeah.
they're going to be branching out, doing something called Infinite Legions, which they're going to be. It's going to be kind of like a side line. So it's not going to be part of the main line of Cosmic or Mythic, but they're going to be introducing elements from other independent creators into that line,
Hmm.
on like a base body for a Cosmic or a Legion, Cosmic or Mythic Legion body.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. They're also working with Sideshow collectibles. If you're
Yeah.
into Sideshow with statues and everything, if that's your thing, if toys aren't really what you're into. Um, so the Horsemen themselves are not doing the sculpting for the sideshow. They're allowing the sideshow company to do their spin on some of the characters. Um, but yeah, no. So they're branching out. They're doing other things, but they're
Well,
also kind of branching out within their own household, within their own world here. And with that, I'm talking about something that they announced here: Legacies of Mythos. So this is going to be a subline where they re-release like second versions or updated versions of some of the older characters, like the one you see here.
yeah,
Uh, his name is Otho.
yeah.
Otho
He's
has
been
kind
one of
of
my grails for a while.
he's kind of got a checkered past.
Yeah,
He was a character that's released during the very first Mythic Legions Kickstarter, and people either loved him or hated him. Those that didn't like him, they had an issue with the size of the head on the figure,
mm,
not anything else. It was just his head's too big. Well, Mythic Legions is kind of known for a little slightly oversized noggins. It's a fantasy line. So what this is, for those that don't know, that weren't in attendance or didn't watch, Legacies is going to be kind of like a micro line that they release, two or three, maybe four figures in a set of some of those older characters like Otho here.
yeah.
Um, Otho is not the only one that they kind of teased. Although I will be very happy to get this figure in hand. I do have the original Otho. This is one of my favorite figures in the line.
Right.
He was, so I didn't go all in on the first Kickstarter, but I believe Otho was my pledge figure. So I loved him that much that he is the one that I pledged for during that Kickstarter. But another one that they kind of teased here, and this is a big one for me. So this one is the Silver Knight Legion builder. So
Oh,
they had recently re-released the Gold Knight Legion builder with some new parts and everything. And for a while you could get him. He was in stock on their website, storehorseman.com. So the
yeah.
Silver Knight Legion builder had not been re-released yet. So when they do re-release him, he's going to have all new parts. There's going to be, there's more of the Valiant Knight here than what a lot of people may realize is it. So the base body is going to be pretty much a Valiant Knight with a few, different armor pieces or whatever. But the big thing for me, and when I saw this picture, and you got to understand, I've been working since basically Thursday until now. It's been work, eat, sleep, go back to work, eat, sleep. So the whole time everybody was having fun at Legion's Con, I was on the job. Okay, I've been working. So all of these things that I'm showing you, I grab and save. Like, yep, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about. Soon as I saw this picture,
I'm intrigued by the shield.
I grabbed it, and I'm going to zoom in here on this shield because that was the first thing that I saw. Was this shield. So those of you that may not know, I am the original designer of the Sword Horseman. So I beat the horseman in this design for a sword. Okay. And hey, you don't believe me? Go look up it on sourcehorseman.com. Okay. Go to Mythic Legions and scroll down to where you see Armory. Okay, you see the Armory and you click on that and it shows you a bunch of the pictures of the weapons or everything. I'm credited. Zombie 13 and my real name is on that website, credited under the page for this, for coming up with the design. And not only that, it's on Kickstarter. So you can go and look it up on Kickstarter if you think I'm just trying to blow smoke up your ass. Now, I'm not going to take credit for this shield. I am not taking credit for this shield. I did immediately send this picture to Jeremy Gerard, and I asked him, "Is that what I think it is?" And he said, "Yes." So,
That's so cool.
so that is Shield Horseman right there. Okay. Now, I had sent, I'm going to pop over to another image here. I had sent this picture to Jeremy months ago, and said, hey, just since you guys are making the faction shields and everything, it would be cool if we could get a shield horseman, you know? So I took that original picture that I did where I updated the design for the horseman, and just kind of superimposed it there over one of the shields. And then I went a little step further and let me pull this one up. I tore the armor off of the oh crap, help me out, Dustin. What's that bipedal horse character? Crap.
Oh,
Equidron.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So Equidron has that armor on his head, and I ripped that off and put it on a shield. And I'm like, look, you know, it looks great. I told him, send this to Eric Treadaway. Make sure he sees it, you know. Well, after I'd asked Jeremy about the shield in the picture, let me go back to it. Here, he said, yeah, we kind of already had that in development before you sent me those pictures. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to take credit for the shield, but still, I can't wait to get it.
Yeah, right.
So that's awesome. I love that.
I dig it.
Yeah, it's really cool. Let me see. Oh, I do have some. So last week we kind of talked about this character here, and this is Sir Gideon Heavensbrand.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom him out a little bit here so I can get him on the screen. There we go. How does that look? Is that better? Yeah. So here's a better shot of him outside of that box. So last week I showed kind of some carded images or whatever, and I was telling people you're not ready for this wave. It's
right.
If you have ever had a Legion's figure in your hand, you just don't understand how great these things are going to be compared to even past figures. I mean, it's going to be like a completely different line. The way these things move, what's included with them, especially this one. Yeah. He is going to have so many new things with him. It's going to blow people's minds.
Yeah.
But I thought that
blowing
was
my mind.
I thought that was a really good shot.
Not even that big of a fan of the original Gideon Headsbrand, but I was like, okay, this one looks awesome. And then I went back and looked, and I'm like, okay, the original one is pretty cool too. So this one won me over to the character, and then I was like, all right, yeah, he's cool.
I mean, he's got a really cool, not just heroic type of look or whatever. But if you read his bio and then read his horse's bio, it's hard not to fall in love with that character.
Right?
Like he's like the goodest of good guys. I mean, like how do you not like somebody like that?
I don't know. I'm always skeptical. Like, no one can be that good.
Oh no. Like he's credited with like rooting out the corruption within the ranks of his faction and all that kind of stuff. So he's very much typically your white knight type of guy.
He's basically the Superman, essentially.
Well, I don't know I'd go that far.
Just the fact that he brings out people's better qualities, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on here. Here's a shot of that horse that I didn't have a picture of, Conibus, the skeletal horse that just blew everybody's mind when it was revealed a couple of years ago. Because everybody's like, okay, so this is the steed to Necronominus. Necronominus is a full-on skeleton. There's no way they're gonna do a skeleton horse.
Yeah.
They can't. How would you even do that? And boom, they did.
Yeah.
There's your skeleton horse. So there's an in-box shot of that guy.
It's not fair. These figures are too cool. And speaking of what's not fair, is Figure Fight Club saying he has 6 of those snake figures.
Oh, dang,
Good
man.
grief.
That's crazy. Wow, man.
Don't
So
make me
yeah,
hate
that
you right
that
now.
that kind of tells me that they did lift the restrictions of one per person. So he
Yeah,
must have
sounds
picked up
like
the
it.
extras either through trading with people or sometime during the last day Sunday of Legion's Con. Uh let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, this guy. Here's another shot
Hey,
of
Matt.
hey Matt. Here's another shot of one of the figures coming from the Necronominus wave, I believe, or is it the All-Star 6? I'm not sure. Some of these bleed over into the follow-up wave, and I get them kind of confused a little bit. Um, Here's another one. You can kind of see the other guy there in the background, but here's another one of the Templar type of characters there.
Okay, hang on. I just want to inject this.
Yeah.
Figure Fight Club says no, they didn't actually lift it, but
Oh.
they let you go back in line and wait. So that
Oh.
is
So
insane.
you went you lived in that line then, because I had people telling me, man, that line's like a 2 hour long wait. So to get six of them, you spent 12 hours waiting in line. Holy crap, man!
Yes, he had proxies.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's good to have friends. It's
Yeah,
good to have friends.
it is. It is.
There were times when no lines were there.
Oh, that tells me because in past years, so
In past years,
two
the Valiant
two
Night
years
was even
ago,
like impossible to get.
yeah, like 2 3 years ago, like the line was just insane. Like people spent all day in line just to get through the table once. So they
Yeah.
corrected that. They corrected course and they separated, the regular figures from the show exclusive figures. Well, I don't want to say exclusive, like the show premiere figures and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So there was two lines, and then from there, I know they further went into offering more forms of checkout. So
That's cool.
so they're always working on improving to help, the wait time in those lines.
For
Um,
sure.
I know one year Jeremy and one of the other guys was walking around just with the show figures and saying people, hey, if you're in line and you just want these, come see us. We'll get you checked out. You can get back to the show and go to the other vendors and tables and everything. Let's see. Let me move on here. So this is another figure that I'm personally excited about. It's
Oh,
another
dude.
skeleton, of course.
That's sick.
And this one is, I believe, in like the All-Star 6 wave after Necronominus. So, I mean, this is a production figure. This is
Mm-hmm.
like, so they're, I mean, it's close. I imagine Necronominus is going to get released, and then shortly thereafter, the follow-up wave is going to get released. So 2025 is going to be busy.
Oh.
Here is another one of the children of Necronominus, whose name escapes me. So
Yeah, I don't
he's
remember
he's
either.
cool. He's got soft goods. He's built on another one of those skeleton bodies. And here's a figure that really was underappreciated in his time. So this was one where it actually won the fan vote when we all got to vote on because they used to during the All Star waves, they would do like brackets and you could vote
Yeah.
on some of the past characters that hadn't been re released yet to get a re release. And Sir Ignatius here uh, is a figure from the very first Kickstarter. So there's no updated parts on this one. He's a complete straight re release. But I find that those re release figures from those All Star waves like this have much superior paint jobs on them. I took my original one out from the first Kickstarter, and I mean, even just looking at this picture here of him, it's got much crisper lines on him. The line work isn't splotchy and it's not bleeding and it's not faded. On my original, it's like you could tell it's got some wear on it.
Yeah.
Even though he's been in the box almost the entire time since I've gotten him.
So the previous figure you just had on, his name is Thrasis, the First Risen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's one of the children of Necronominus,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
Yep.
But Sir Ignatius here, he's got this type of pearlescent to his armor that pictures just do not capture. Uh,
Most definitely not.
it's it's a wonderful figure, and this was one during the voting process that I voted on to get included in this wave because I knew because he is part of the Order of Eartheron.
Yeah.
Same as Sir Gideon's Heaven's Brand and those Templars that are coming out. So this is a figure that people were going to want, even if they don't know that they want him yet. Trust me, you're gonna want this figure.
What was the name of it just I had it in my mind and then it escaped my mind that fast.
Which one? What's he look like?
No, it's the girl, it's the female, the black girl, the
I know who you're talking about. Again, that name kind of escapes me at the moment. Her armor is very similar, but it's a little more white. This one has kind of like there's like a champagne type of pearlescent to it.
I was just gonna compare that to that line or that figure because that figure is breathtaking and it definitely has that pearlescent sheen. That
and she's part of the Order of Eartheron too. I'm trying to look her up real quick.
Yeah.
But she has kind of that same effect on her, but her armor, Gadriel, her armor is a little more white. This one has a little more gold tint to it. So, but I imagine, so you get Gadriel, Sir Ignatius, and then Sir Uxak, the ogre scale. His armor is going to be a little bit different colored too, but it's going to have that kind of pearlescent sheen to it. I mean, that's going to be a great looking trio just put together right there.
For sure.
And Sir Uxak comes out in the Necronominus wave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for this figure, even though it's an older figure, and they're showing all these new parts and all that kind of stuff. People are, they might be like, it's old. It's old. No, trust me, you cannot appreciate this figure unless you get one in hand and see it.
Right.
It's an impressive looking figure. So I'm going to transition a little bit. That's, enough about Mythic Legions. It was, it's Legions Con, sure, but I've told you, you can go to their main site, sourcehorseman.com. Go check them out. The pre-order for the new wave, Rise of the Beasts, is open right now and through to the end of December. You can go to storehorseman.com and place your pre-order for whatever you want there. But they had other people at Legions Con showing some new stuff off, and one of those is Spiro Toys.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about Mamba last week, so you can see here another size comparison with some of their own figures. It doesn't hurt yet. It hurts when it's sold out and you can't get them anywhere. That's when it hurts, Dustin.
Yeah, I suppose that's true too. But I mean, it still hurts because it's like there's no way I'm going to be able to ever afford anything.
Oh, come on, man. I got you. Don't even worry about that. We'll figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to afford that damn dragon, okay?
Same.
That's what hurts.
Dude,
what hurts.
Is it so weird that I'm also looking at the space up here on top of my Detolfs thinking I could put a dragon there.
So I'm going to tell you, if I'm able to get one, he's probably going to be somewhere right up here. I'm going to have to move the trolls.
Yeah.
and he's gonna end up being up there. So, but yeah, no. Spiro Toys was there showing off some of their figures from their past Kickstarter that they just had this year. You've got one of the birds there, Scathing. He's their kind of uh, their necromancer type of character. He's a vulture. You've got Chief Brutox next to him, which I'm excited about. I did pledge for that one.
Shoot.
What?
You said vulture? Dang it. I didn't know that was a vulture.
Yeah.
Dang
yeah,
it.
he's a vulture. You passed on that one, didn't you?
I did, because he could go well with Vulture Man,
Yeah,
which is what I'm
yeah.
wanting to do is build.
So you got time. They're not out. Trust me. He'll have them on his website at spirotoys.com.
Yeah.
They do a pretty good job of keeping stuff in stock there. But this time around, they also had looked like posable prototypes for some of the figures that they've shown at past conventions that were just kind of static prints. They didn't move.
Oh,
so there's that lion. Can't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't either. There's been so many lions that have been released recently that I'm having trouble keeping up, and yet I want them all. Anyway,
let's see.
That's the same one that we ordered, right?
Yeah, I've got one on order for you.
Yeah.
That's the one where I said I'm gonna have to open that one and play with it before I send it to you, because I stupidly didn't order one for myself. I'm gonna have to order one of those.
Yeah.
But here you can see the other kind of I forget what do they call them, this particular scale. I keep wanting to say brute, and maybe that is. But you can see down below him their lizard type of guy, which I pledged for that one, so I got the chameleon because it came with a snake head, because that's what I was going to use for my display for like the Eastern Zodiac warriors that I'm putting together.
Yeah.
But with this latest reveal from the Horsemen, I might be doing a swap out here when those come out for the other those with the snake lower half bodies. So
yeah.
But it's probably going to be a couple of years from now. So I'll still use Spiro. You still got me. I'm still going to use that one until the other one comes out.
You got a ways to go before Rise of the Beast.
Yeah, that's true. But one of the things that I was really looking forward to for coverage wise was that new line, that Bushido line. And here you can see a couple of the figures that they've been teasing up to this point. Now, if you look past them to the left, I did share that, right? Let me hop back over here. Yeah. So if you look past them to the left, there is another line that they're working on that's kind of, I'm going to try and zoom in here. It looks like space stuff. And I don't know the name of that line, so I apologize ahead of time.
Is it space, or is it like water type gear, like
no,
G.I. Joe type stuff?
It's space. It had like alien kind of stuff to it.
Okay.
I didn't grab any information on that because it just kind of locked into the Bushido thing.
Yeah.
So if you're into samurai stuff, I know that's a really blurry picture. I apologize. Here's a couple of figures. I think there's going to be more in this line, but these are the first two that they're really kind of showing off. Here you get to see like full painted prototype of both of these characters. And then they do have some promotional images that they've put on social. Nice. So here's that first guy. And is it samurai and folklore? So they're not all going to be samurai. We may get a ninja in there. We may get like a Tengu warrior kind of person in there. Who knows what else they're going to include. But this is a 6-inch scale, 1/12 scale line that they're working on.
Yeah.
And this particular character is going to come with multiple accessories, including heads. So
That's
you can see
cool.
here. Give me a second. My computer's really bogging down. I've got like 45 tabs open. And I keep clicking over to make sure I'm sharing. So, but yeah, no, you get to see here some of the different heads that this particular character is going to come with. And here's one where he's got the samurai mask, but the helmet is off.
Mm.
And then
Cool.
the one that I'm really excited about here is this guy.
Yeah.
All because I know what he's based off of. I've been looking at some of the social media comments and stuff on things like this, and the very first thing people point out is blonde samurai. Interesting. Like, okay, y'all don't know. This is based off of Zoro from One Piece, okay? I know that. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're not anime fans. I don't know. But here's another promotional shot here with him, some of his gear, and
Okay. Anyone viewing on YouTube, are you still able to see us?
uh-oh. I saw where we had like
We're
a
having
thing that
trouble
said,
streaming to YouTube. This may be an issue on YouTube's end. We'll keep trying and let you know if it's resolved. Please check YouTube to ensure the stream looks okay. If it continues for a while, try creating a new live stream or just remove this destination from the stream, then re-add it. Okay, well, it's a little late for that. We're kind of broadcasting.
yeah, we're an hour and 8 minutes in.
Yeah.
I'm nearing the end anyway. Here's a shot of what I had hoped that he came with his the bandana on his head. You know, when Zoro puts the bandana on his head in One Piece, shit's about to get serious. Here, this next shot shows, better what he's going to come with. Of course, he's got to come with the gourd full of booze.
Yeah.
He's known for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's natural. You need to have it.
But I like that he's going to come with different facial expressions. That's really cool.
Yeah. Hmm.
Let's see. Did that change?
Yeah.
That's almost the same picture. It's just kind of a front view, I think.
Hmm.
Here's the one I meant to click on. Here's just a rear-facing view, kind of show you the accessories kind of hanging there on him on the back and all that. But that's really all I got. Swap over to the dragon again just because. So yeah, definitely a very busy weekend, and it was so much more. It's just I'm not just gonna rehash stuff people have already seen, or
Yeah.
I've told you where you could go to take a look at better shots, or if you want to order some of this stuff,
Yep.
you know where to go.
Indeed.
Dustin, you got anything else you want to share or talk about, or?
No. I think just I'll talk about the thing upcoming Friday. And it's not looking too hot over on YouTube. It looks like it's all frozen, so
Oh no! I wonder how long that happened.
well, it stopped on that a
Oh,
few
hang
slides
on,
ago.
I'm not looking. What was it? Show me again.
Stopped on this a few slides ago.
Oh, oh, we made it all the way to Bushido.
Yeah. But
Well, since we're having technical difficulties, I think probably should wrap it up anyway.
yeah, for sure.
Abby, if you're still watching, um, man, I can't wait to see y'all's show on Wednesday. Uh, Action Figure Alliance. Anybody that's watching, you haven't checked them out.
Go check them
Him,
out.
you got Abby, you got Trey, you got Alan. They're a good group of guys.
Yeah.
Really fun show. Sometimes they have guests. Sometimes they talk about other toy lines, stuff that's coming out. There's a lot that I didn't touch on. I'm sure they're gonna bring some of it up. I'm sure
Yeah.
Avi's gonna have pictures to share from his experience at Legion's Con.
Yeah, he said that he had a big toy haul from Legion's Con.
Yeah,
So
and they do a thing similar to us where they do like a what's in the box kind of thing. They call it like new hotness, I think. What's your new hotness? What'd you get? So yeah, no, they're a good group of guys. We've had a couple of them on the show a couple of times, so go check them out if you hadn't. Action Figure Alliance on YouTube on Wednesday nights at
8.
Is it 8 o'clock? So yeah.
Yep.
But other than that, come and see us again on Friday nights. We're going to be talking about the movies Blood Vessel and Sundown, the Vampire Retreat, a viewer requested movie.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of in the horror mood, I think.
Yeah.
We've moved past Halloween, but I haven't let it go yet. I'm sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. I think we'll be on it for a little bit anyway. But
so not only do we, have our shows on the Madness Network, but Dustin, tell us about some of the other shows that you can catch throughout the week.
Well, let's see. It's Monday, so Tuesday, Tuesday Morning Brew with Lori Calcaterra, and that's always coming up. And honestly, there's literally something for you, no matter what day it is. Just tune into the madness because there's going to be something on that might pique your interest and is worth watching. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
For sure.
But hopefully, Pomps is getting better. He had surgery, and so we're, once again, wishing him a speedy recovery. And
definitely.
So yeah. But yeah, so check out those shows. Check out us on Friday, and yeah. Until then, next time, ThunderNerds ho.